Welcome back to Brazil, Beto Carreiro theme park. My name is Paul Malin. You join us for the final race of the afternoon here in Brazil, and we need to get away pretty sharpish because it gets dark early here this time of year. We're autumn in the southern hemisphere in Brazil, and by about 5 o'clock it will be pretty dark, so this race needs to get underway on time. The MX1 guys are down there. They're making their way to the start line from the waiting zone alongside me as we speak, and this race will be underway in about a minute and a half. There's our race director, Dave Nicol. He's the man with the stopwatch. He will bring the guys under starters' orders as soon as he can to get things underway as soon as possible. In terms of the race itself in MX1 a little earlier, the win went to Christophe Pourcel after what was a lousy qualifying performance from him yesterday. He put himself right back in the frame with a victory in Moto number 1, and quite comfortably as well, it has to be said, a minute and a half ahead of David Philippart, who had a quite impressive ride as well on the Monster Energy Yamaha through to second place. Gauthier Paulin was third, Rui Gonçalves fourth. These are the qualifying times you're looking at here, or positions I should say. Then it was Rui Gonçalves in fourth, the Honda World Motocross MX1 rider. Then Kevin Strybos, the HM Plant KTM UK machine. He had a great ride through traffic as well in what were very challenging conditions in Moto number 1. It was hammering down with rain throughout both the MX2 and MX1 first motos. And then we had a little bit of a break with the rain, and that stayed off right up until now. So there was none during the MX2 race a moment ago, and it's still dry at the moment, which means the circuit is drying, but there's a very narrow line out there. And so a good start is going to be just as important as it was in Moto number 1. Christophe Pourcel pulled the whole shot in that first race. He's up the inside. He's going to be looking to do it again, and these conditions suit the Frenchman right the way down to the ground. And the grandstands there up on their feet. They're getting ready. The Monster Energy 15-second board is up. That turns to 5 now. The girls will go left. The heads go down. Pourcel nearest the camera. Alongside him, Dean Ferris on the MX1 Race in Kawasaki. And David Guarneri on the Silver Action KTM. But Pourcel not getting a good jump. He goes tight to the inside and he gets held up. There's 4, 5, 6 guys go down, piling into each other. And look at that. Pourcel comes out and around about 5th place. He sensed the danger. He goes around the outside there. And so it's Sebastian Pourcel, number 11. So Christophe Pourcel getting caught going through turn 1. And it's the number 4 of Tanel Leop who leads. He's got Xavier Boog, the 1-2-1 around the outside. And 377, Christophe Pourcel. Look at that. He snuck through the inside. He avoided all the carnage going through that first turn. And he's definitely up for the fight in this one. Had no problems pulling away in the early stages of the race in Moto number 1 to the tune of around 6 or 7 seconds per lap. And wow, he's definitely right where he needs to be in the early stages of this second race. Just trying to pick the riders out as they go through there. But it's Tanel Leop who leads at the moment over the Invest Trade Bank part of the circuit through that rhythm section. And he's already got the head down as number 4, the Estonian, Tanel Leop. Been struggling with a couple of niggling injuries for the first few races. But look at that, riders going down. Cairoli, was that Cairoli got caught going down through there? I think it might have been, you know. Difficult to see at that point from that angle. But Tanel Leop, great start for him, working his way around the second half of this lap, dropping downhill back into the main arena. And if you're just joining us for the first time on MX Live or on Motors TV today, there really is a stadium atmosphere around this Beto Carreiro circuit. Grandstands all the way around. And the only part that you don't get it is up out there in the background in the trees. But Tanel Leop, man, he's just pulled the pin. He's gone. Even Christophe Pourcel can't stay with him in the early stages here. But, well, look at that. Xavier Boog getting it wrong. There's Gauthier Paulin in 4th place. Was that Bobashev there going through just behind him? Bit of a shadow there, look. Sky starting to brighten up a little bit. I'll stop short of saying that the sun is about to come back out, but Pourcel, look at him, in a bit of a hurry, trying to get into that deep rut there. Gets it a little bit wrong on the entry, so too. But all the riders following the way. They haven't done the sighting lap here for obvious reasons. They had the choice to do it, but chose not to. So they're finding their way for the first time here in race conditions. Strybos there, another good start for him, number 22. Over the line we go then. And it's Tanel Leop. He leads on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine. Christophe Pourcel is second on the Kawasaki. Xavier Boog is third. Gauthier Paulin fourth. Kevin Strybos, HM Plant KTM UK in fifth. Kenny Bobashev, Honda World MX1 in sixth, ahead of his teammate Ruben Chalves. David Philippart's Monster Energy Yamaha. Sean Simpson likewise in ninth, and Mattis Caro on the STR KTM. Jonathan Barrigan is 11th on the NS Honda, just going through there, legging his way through. Then he's got four guys behind him in the form of Kenda Dyker, Heron Bracker, Tony Cairoli, who was one of the fallers at turn one, and Sebastian Pourcel. Guarnieri is 16th, and we wait for Alfie Smith, Santu Tienen, Adrian Garrido, and Antonio Jorge Balbi. We wait for those guys. Balbi coming through in 17th position, the Brazilian. But we're trying to pick up Cairoli. There he is on the right with the fluorescent green-pink, the yellow-pink there, 222. So he needs, obviously, to get on the case as soon as he can. He had a 29-point lead in the championship over Clement de Salle, and de Salle, one of the guys not inside the top 20 as well. So I can only assume by the process of elimination that Clement de Salle, not in the top 20, also got caught going through turn one. So his situation then even worse than Cairoli's. Gauthier Paulin is there in fourth place, so that'll be points on the board for Paulin in terms of closing down Cairoli in the championship. Paulin also finished ahead of Cairoli in Moto number one. There's Kevin Strybos, number 22, HM Plant KTM UK. He's there in fifth place at the moment. He's got Bobashev just behind him on the Honda. Oh, who's that? One of the locals, 28. That will be Dario Navarro of Argentina. So again, not so local, as it turns out. But local in terms of not from Europe, should we say. But good opening lap for Tanel Leop, number 4, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 rider. Through the waves, you can see that dry line starting to appear. Pourcel was 7.7 seconds down. There, Christophe Pourcel just going through on our race leader. But it'll be interesting to see how that starts to change. Boog goes through. Strybos right. Who have we lost? Have we lost Boog or have we lost Paulin? I think we've lost Xavier Boog, haven't we? Because Strybos looks like he's in fourth position. Bobashev down there in fifth place. There's only one Kawasaki, I think, went through out of the... Right, Tanel Leop, Christophe Pourcel, Xavier Boog, Gauthier Paulin is gone missing. Strybos is fourth at the moment. Comes over the line now. Then it's Bobashev in fifth. That's him there in the Honda. There's Paulin just off the back of that group. So an expensive mistake for Gauthier Paulin because Gonçalves, de Salle, is there in seventh position. So de Salle on the charge. Didn't see him on the leaderboard last time around, but Clement de Salle is definitely there, and that's him at the head of that pack. Ruben Gonçalves in the middle in white. Gauthier Paulin looking to go around the outside to try and salvage back another position. Oh, almost gets it wrong on the landing of the jump. And then we've got behind him David Philippart, Sean Simpson rounding out the top 10. Oh, look at that. How deep those ruts are. Just pick a line, any line. Is that your line, son? David Philippart. Another bum bag carrier. I think he started the trend. MX1 Race 1, Tommy Searle picked up the trend in the MX2 Race 2. Bit of enduro style there for Philippart. That thing flapping around top of his rear end there, but he's got a pair of goggles in there. You never know, he might even have a plug spanner in there or something, but certainly we'll have a few things packed away in that bag just in case he needs them a little later on. Didn't need him in Moto number 1 though. David Philippart had a similar start to this in the first race and had a good ride to finish in second, so don't count out the former world champion David Philippart's there, number 19. David Philippart pulls a tear off, or a roll off I should say. 27 minutes to go, plus 2. Fastest man on track last time around was Christophe Pourcel, 2:49.001, almost then to the thousandths of a second, but Tenol Leoc it is who has a 6.5 second advantage over the Frenchman, Christophe Pourcel. Xavier Boog was third last time around. It was Gauthier Paulin, number 21, who fell down to 8th place. There he is going through now on that green Kawasaki. A cheer going up in the grandstand behind me. Not sure why that was, but Strybos having a great ride in 4th position. Already around the corner ahead of Bobashev, Gonçalves and DeSalle. Oh, who goes down? Philipparts goes down. So David Philipparts, who was looking good a moment ago, manages to keep that 450 Yamaha going, and Sean Simpson goes through. Then Barragan there, just side to side, number 7 on the LS Honda. David Philipparts can't afford to waste any time thinking about getting back into his rhythm. He's just got to get his head down and go. But look how much time he lost. DeSalle, the fastest rider on track that time around, 2:45.8. And he's closing in on these guys here, but it's Christophe Pourcel who leads. Look, Tenol Leoc made a mistake. He's now in 2nd place. So a 2:46 for Christophe Pourcel. 2:56 cost him 10 seconds, or maybe, certainly in a lap time it did anyway. Tenol Leoc, so Christophe Pourcel in the driving seat here. And Tenol Leoc maybe just trying to push too hard, too soon. What's that hanging off the fork leg of Christophe Pourcel's right fork leg there on that Kawasaki through that right-hander? Might be just be a little bit of rag or something, but certainly something flapping around there. There's Tony Cairoli in the green helmet, yellow-green helmet, the 222. He's still down only in 13th position at the moment. Still trying to find a way past, is that Kendedika just ahead of him? I think it might be. Just under 25 minutes plus 2 to go. We're looking at Cairoli there, 2:22, as he goes down the inside of Kendedika on the Red Bull KTM, and Jonathan Barragan just ahead of those. So Cairoli picks off the Belgian and goes into 12th position. Jonathan Barragan here in front of us now, number 7. He's the Spaniard on the LS Honda in 11th place, and at the top of the hill, already there after that mistake, David Philipparts has got Sean Simpson ahead of him in 9th and Gauthier Paulin in 8th. They're disappearing around the turn at the bottom of the hill there. But Clément DeSalle, our fastest man on track, in 6th place. He's about 2 seconds down on Evgeny Bobashev, or he was as they came over the line last time around. But DeSalle already 19 seconds down on Christophe Pourcel, our new race leader. Didn't see what happened to Tenol Leoc on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Our early race leader, number 4, Tenol Leoc from Estonia. But it was obviously enough of a mistake for Christophe Pourcel just to sneak on through and have a 4-second advantage after 2 complete laps. There's Barragan, number 7, Spaniard. He's already seen his fellow countryman get on the podium in MX2 just a while ago. As we look at the 22 of Kevin Strybos, he got Xavier Boog. Right, what's going on here? This was Rui Gonçalves being passed a moment ago by Clément DeSalle. There's Strybos, still in, he's still there in 4th position at the moment on the HM Plant UK KTM. Got Xavier Boog just ahead of him there in the green and blue. And out the corner, Tenol Leoc over the step up in the background here, number 4. So this is 2nd, 3rd and 4th coming towards you. Leoc, Xavier Boog and the 22 of Kevin Strybos. Evgeny Bobashev just a little bit further back, 7 seconds in fact. Coming into that opposite corner there in the background. And he's got Clément DeSalle and Gauthier Paulin and Rui Gonçalves with him. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th pretty much locked together. And then we have Sean Simpson and David Philipparts just another couple of seconds further back. But it's Barragan who set the fastest 2nd sector there that time around. Xavier Boog, 1-2-1. He could do with a podium. So too could Tenol Leoc, but takes the wrong line through there. These two are going to come side by side, bar to bar, but Xavier Boog's just edged it through the rhythm section. And Tenol Leoc had to take evasive action there, got caught in all the mud on the upslope. Coming out of that rhythm section, Tenol Leoc now drops to 3rd place, and he's got the 22 all over the back of him. of Kevin Strybos. And Kevin Strybos, you know, could end up on the podium here this weekend overall. Not only is he going for a potential podium race finish in this second MX1 race in Brazil, the Honda Grand Prix of Brazil, round 5 of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship. So looking at trying to get on there. It's an overall finisher as well by virtue of 2 decent scores. 5th in Moto number 1, currently 4th in this second race. Christophe Pourcel will be looking at 2 victories. Tanel Leoc finished behind him in 20th place in Moto number 1, and so too did Xavier Boog. So at the moment, Kevin Strybos looking at possibly 2nd overall, depending on what Philippe Arts does, of course. So yeah, Strybos 34 with Gauthier Paulin, Philippe Arts 33. Still a long way to go. As we look at 67, Santu Tienen. Xavier Bourg going through there, the 1-2-1. Lapping the Finnish rider. The Ice 1 Kawasaki rider there, look. Legging his way through the turn, the orange shoulder on that clothing. Leoc 4 and Strybos 22 go round the outside of the Ice 1 Kawasaki rider, Santu Tienen. To wheel. Tanel Leoc, this is the battle for 3rd place, the final podium step. Strybos needs to get it to give himself more of an opportunity to get on the podium, of course. It's out of his hands what goes on behind him in terms of Gauthier Paulin and David Philippe Arts and what they do and the kind of progress they make. But getting over the step up, no problems there for Strybos. The problem then came in the wave section that followed. Cost him a little bit of time, maybe a couple of bike lengths. But he managed to keep it upright just on 2 wheels. Bobashev closing in on these guys. So Bobashev in 5th there, look, in the turn, in the background, the 777 of Kenny Bobashev. Bobashev finishing 9th in the end in that first race. Oh, the front end looked like it buried itself then in that turn. Tanel Leoc. As we look at Cairoli making progress through the field. There's the 19 of David Philippe Arts. He's in 10th. He's got Cairoli just behind him there, the 222 in 11th. That's those 2 guys on shot now. Sean Simpson just ahead of them. Rui Gonçalves just in the turn. Dijker down in 15th. Matis Caro 16th. Balbi, the Brazilian, is 17th. Aaron Bracker 18th. Dean Ferris 19th, Alfie Smith, another point scoring ride for him at the moment, down in 20th place for the JK Gebbon Yamaha squad. Got a Brazilian sponsor actually, they have, Circuit. They do a lot of aftermarket products, but look at that. Up the inside, Sean Simpson trying to find a way through on Rui Gonçalves. Bit like the old MX2 days for these 2 guys. Cairoli just pulling a tear off. And then the towel that he would have had around his waist, just in case of a mishap at turn 1. For instance, just falls free and falls to the wayside. 24, Sean Simpson, battling on after dislocating a shoulder a week ago. The Grand Prix of Mexico. Trying to find a way to close in and get by the 999 of Rui Gonçalves there, the Honda World MX1 rider. Factory Honda team. Philippe Arts, taking no prisoners, runs alongside Sean Simpson. Couldn't get through though. Tight little right, short straight, tight little left. Lines are starting to open up now in the closing stage of this race. Simpson getting a bit of a bobble through the More My Waves, and Philippe Arts goes through. So Philippe Arts then, Sean Simpson, as you can see, no goggles on, hanging on the handlebar. I'm trying to think actually, Philippe Arts lost his number plate again. He lost the front plate yesterday there in the qualifying race. And he gets past Rui Gonçalves as well, so not hanging around here, David Philippe Arts. As Rui Gonçalves just gets caught behind Santu Tienen. Look at the mush there on the inside. Rui Gonçalves having to work his way through those ruts. Gets to the middle of the track, can't get the distance over the step up prior to the finish line jump. And David Philippe Arts then notches up another position. So 17 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Christophe Pourcel 5 seconds clear of Xavier Bourg. It's Kawasaki 1-2. Tanel Leoc is still 3rd. And he's got Strybos, Bobryshev, DeSalle, Paulin, Philipparts, Gonçalves and Simpson for company. Gauthier Paulin down in 7th place on the factory Kawasaki, the KRT, Kawasaki Racing Team entry. Just legging his way through some of the deep rutted holes here. There was concern after, or before the guys even went out in MX1 or MX2 practice, or didn't go out, shall I say, that it might just be a one-race format this weekend, with conditions possibly being the worst that we'd seen all season long. But with the rain stopping and riders being able to get round, there's been absolutely no reason to cancel the show here, and obviously a second race is going ahead. Obviously, the Brazilian fans paying good money to come here and watch the race there. Strybos, has he found a way through on, I think he may have. Has he found a way through on the number 4 of Tonel Leon? Well, there's DeSalle. So DeSalle's either found a way past Bobryshev, which he has there in the background, but where's Tonel Leon? Because Leon was 3rd. There he is. And there's Strybos there in 4th coming out of that turn. That's Clément DeSalle in 5th, number 25. So the Belgian, Clément DeSalle, who didn't actually finish moto number 1, but he lapped up to some of the stragglers and was actually classified as finishing in 13th place, was Clément DeSalle in moto number 1. The bike expired on him in some way, I think just after the Monster Energy finish line jump in the right-hander. There's Bobby, Evgeny Bobryshev, up onto the plateau. It was a nice triple yesterday in the dry qualifying conditions. Yellow flag there being waved. Yeah, we've got a rider just off-piste. Takes a deep breath, gets prepared to go again, but Bobryshev there. We'll wait for him to come over the line. Just behind Clément DeSalle, who got a little bit wayward there on the upslope of the finish line jump. Poor Sal, you know, not getting away with it here. Only 3.7 seconds clear of Xavier Boog. Tonel Leon still hanging on in 3rd. Kevin Strybos still 4th. And Clément DeSalle, we just saw him go through a moment ago there at the end of the straight in 5th. That's Evgeny Bobryshev, number 777. He's in 6th. That's Antonio Balbi, the Brazilian, on the 2B Racing Kawasaki. He's down in 17th at the moment. No stranger to riding here, although it's the first time on the World Championship calendar. They did have a national championship through here last year. It rained then as well, and actually he went off at that camber and ended up going fishing or swimming, whichever way you want to look at it, but he ended up in the lake just in those trees, did Balbi. Back end of last year, had a bit of a joke about it with him earlier, but keeping it on 2 wheels at the moment. He was unlucky not to score a point in the first race. Again, the bike gave up on him as well. Heavier conditions then. Radiators were being blocked and all that kind of stuff. So unlucky for him. Right, Sean Simpson, 24. In 10th place there on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Just behind him, Tony Cairoli. So Cairoli on the charge. That's him there, 222. Battle for 10th place. Here's Rui Gonçalves coming into view now on the red Honda, a 999. He's in 9th. That's Simpson there on the right. Here's Cairoli. Oh, Alfie Smith dragging a leg there. He's still in the point scoring position at the moment, in 20th position, just behind his teammate, Heron Bracker. Heron Bracker didn't score in the first race, but Alfie Smith did. But with 13 minutes or thereabouts to go, Porcel still leading here by about 3 seconds. Rui Gonçalves, 999, the Honda World Motocross MX1 rider. He is there in 9th place at the moment. He's about 5 seconds down on David Philipparts, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. But more worryingly for him, the guys behind him are Sean Simpson and Tony Cairoli. Cairoli in 11th place at the moment. There's our race leader, 377, Christophe Pourcel. In fact, no, he's not. Xavier Boog is leading. So Pourcel has either made a mistake or he's just been caught and passed by Xavier Boog. So with 12 minutes plus 2 to go, backmarker looks over his shoulder, tries to move out of the way. And Xavier Boog then, our new race leader. Another rider who's yet to win an MX1 race, and here he is, putting himself in the perfect situation. Xavier Boog. Christophe Pourcel just behind him there in second place. Look at that lap time, 249.2 of Xavier Boog, 254.7 for Pourcel, 253 for Leo. So obviously, Xavier Boog has either found a line or lines that have rocketed him into the lead. And he's now 5 seconds, well, he's pulled back 5 seconds in that one lap. Pourcel will be keen to keep a watchful eye on him, I would think, if he wants to steal back that first place. Kai Rowley getting it wrong over the jump in the background, decides to throw his goggles, or is it a tear-off that he pulls? Goggles, I think, have gone. Sean Simpson goes back around the outside of the Italian. And that's for 10th place, so took a bit of time trying to discard those goggles, did Tony Cairoli. Sean Simpson there, Monster Energy Yamaha, goes through and re-inherits that 10th place. Cairoli a little bit higher up on the bank than he needed to be, and that's almost allowed. Well, no, actually his back marker there. Barragan, I was going to say, but Barragan is just a bit further back. Or was that Pourcel? Yeah, Christophe Sebastian Pourcel has closed in, having found a way past Jonathan Barragan, even in the space of the half a lap. Crowd roar again. Not sure if that's for Cairoli or for one of the home riders, but Tony Cairoli just needs to regroup here. Certainly a tough Grand Prix for him. As Sebastian Pourcel tries to go around the outside of Sean Simpson, so Sean Simpson making a mistake as well. So he's let Cairoli go back through. And another mistake at the bottom of the hill. Sebastian Pourcel now trying to close in and around the outside of the Scot, Sean Simpson. That's Rui Gonçalves going out of shot. He's in 9th place. That's Cairoli. There's Simpson. Pourcel's gone down in the top right-hander. Trying to find a way around the outside of Sean Simpson. And obviously come unstuck somewhere, either going in or coming out of that right turn that leads into that off-camber. Here we might see it. Oh, buries the front. Does he? Gets a little bit wayward, yeah. And then just slams himself down into the ground. Gets caught under that Kawasaki. And Sebastian Pourcel going from 12th place there. On board once again with Rui Gonçalves, just over 9 minutes plus 2 to go. That's the dry line appearing. Up onto the tabletop, or the triple jump here, onto that plateau. Not able to get all the way over. How deep the lines are, and they're not even straight either. Look, they've obviously tried to rework that rut to get out of what was the old deep rut originally. Bikes are going to be weighing an absolute ton now. All the sticky, heavy clay here, the Brazilian soil. Up onto the Monster Energy finish line jump, and Gonçalves goes over the line in 9th. Xavier Boog 2.6 seconds clear of Christophe Pourcel at the moment. As we look at Antonio Balbi, now in 7th, or still in 17th position as we speak. Commander Sal, 10 seconds down on Christophe Pourcel. Kevin Strybos only 2 further back. 2 seconds further back of Commander Sal. But is that still good enough to get him on the podium? Yeah, it is. It'll be a points tie, and he'll get it on the second race. So Gauthier Paulin has to find a way past Evgeny Bobryshev, and he's 10 seconds down on the Russian at the moment. We're getting ready to go down a pit lane, as you can see. And we're going to be speaking to the Kawasaki squad. Here we go. In the pit lane with Kawasaki Racing Team Manager Francois Lemery. Xavier Boog's been showing really good race out there. He's now moved into the race lead. You couldn't be happy with him, right?
Yeah, he's unlucky for the first moto because the race condition was so difficult but the same for everybody. And now he's still leading, but the race still long. 9 minutes are really long in that kind of conditions. So we are waiting the checking flag, and we see.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, 7 minutes plus a couple of laps, so maybe around 9-10 minutes, maybe even longer. But Pourcel has closed right back onto the rear wheel of Xavier Boog, and Xavier Boog in danger of losing that lead. I wonder if he's actually tightening up a little bit here. Has won French Championship races and French Championship titles, but never won a Grand Prix Moto in MX2 or an MX1. And maybe the pressure just starting to tell here as he homing in. He's completed 8 laps, lap 9 any moment now as he comes over the finish line jump at the end of the straight. But Christophe Pourcel looks to have regrouped and regathered himself. Dean Farris walking away there disconsolately to the side of the track, the 111, so the Australian out of this race. As we look at the battle for the lead between the two French riders, both on Kawasaki's, different teams of course. Xavier Boog on the official factory Kawasaki, Christophe Pourcel under his own team. This for, well, not necessarily the overall for Xavier Boog, but it might be in terms of getting a different position further up the field than he would have done. Where was he in Moto number 1, Xavier Boog? Well, first race, Xavier Boog came home in 16th place, so this would give him 5th overall, 5 points and 25 points, 16th in a race win. So it wouldn't be too bad a date for Xavier Boog there. Christophe Pourcel would be your overall winner. Philip Parts would be second as it stays like this, and then Strybos would be third. We're looking at Christophe Pourcel. Knocking on the door to number 121. Xavier Boog. This is for the second race victory. A first for the guy leading the race at the moment, Xavier Boog. Pourcel, though, no stranger to winning races in MX2 or MX1. Just up on the pegs. That's the corner where his brother fell a couple of laps ago, Sebastian. Just need to do everything right. You cannot rush this circuit. You have to be fully concentrated at all times. Commander Sal, the fastest man on track that time around, as he tries to close in on Commander Sal, on Christian Pourcel. Pourcel probably, there we go, there's the Sal in the background. So the first 3-4 riders in shot, because that's Strybos in the background. In fact, that's a back marker because Strybos about 8 seconds, oh no, he's 2 seconds down. So we are going to get all 4 riders in shot. There is Strybos there in 4th in the background. So Xavier Boog, Christophe Pourcel, Commander Sal and Kevin Strybos all separated by about 10 seconds, which is not a lot in these conditions. We've seen how costly mistakes are coming into, as de Sal just shows us there, coming out of that left-hander. Back marker just ahead of Xavier Boog. Nervous time for him as he completes, what, his 10th lap of this race. Has to pick the right line. Has to find a way past the back marker. Back marker moves it out of the way. And there's still 1.5 seconds in it between the two French guys. De Sal now only 4.3 back. Kevin Strybos only another, what, 2 seconds further back. So 6 seconds now separate Xavier Boog, Christophe Pourcel, Commander Sal and Kevin Strybos. So Xavier Boog, our race leader, can't afford a mistake here. That's the bottom line. Francois Lemarié, we just heard from him a moment ago, team manager for Kawasaki Racing Team. He'll be keeping his fingers crossed. Pourcel will be hoping that his fellow countryman will make a mistake somewhere, but so far so good for Xavier Boog. Has to take avoiding action though of Santu Tienen. Maybe has to pick a line at the bottom of the hill that he didn't want to use initially. Gets up onto the plateau, no problem. So too does Pourcel, but it looks like he might have just another couple of tenths of a second here or there. There's de Sal, 25, he's in 3rd place. Been a good ride for him on the Suzuki. And then the 22 of Strybos. Oh, he gets caught Thought he was just going to get caught there by the back marker, Santutianen. Fortunately, there was just enough room for the Belgian Strybos to squeeze his HM Plant UK KTM machine through. Sal, perfectly poised on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine. Not rushing, likes a technical track. We've got, what, 140 left on the clock, plus 2 laps. Lap times last time around, DeSalle 2:45. So more than 5 minutes left. After they, in fact, we're going to be about 4 laps to go here, aren't we? Maybe 3 laps to go as they come over the line, because time isn't going to have ticked away completely. Crunch time then, a minute plus 2 to go. 3 laps, the final 3 laps of the Honda Brazilian Grand Prix here at Beto Carreiro Theme Park. DeSalle gets hung up coming out of that turn. He knows he can't afford to waste too much time either, because Kevin Strybos is there just waiting to pounce should the need arise. That's Christophe Pourcel, the 377. He's in second. That's third and fourth just behind him, DeSalle and Strybos. Here's our race leader. Xavier Boog just going through shot now. So which one of these guys is going to turn it up? Gauthier Paulin over the line in 5th place. Tanel Leoc now 6th. Philippe Hart 7th. Kenny Bobashev is 8th. There is Tanel Leoc in 6th position. Rui Gonçalves comes over the line in 9th. Kai Rowley is in 10th position. Sean Simpson is 11th, ahead of Jonathan Barragan at the last count. Alfie Smith, look, up into 18th now. Good lad. Points on the board for him. Back markers just getting in the way. Xavier Boog, sorry, Gauthier Paulin just trying to pick his way through. Philippe Hart almost come unstuck going up the hill there. Trying his best to get on the podium here. David Philippe Hart. He's there at the moment. He's just edged out Kevin Strybos. So he's obviously made a couple of passes as David Philippe Hart won the Grand Prix last year at Indaiatuba. As we look at Tanel Leoc and Evgeny Bobashev. Down the bottom end of the circuit, Leoc 6th, or 7th now, Bobashev 8th, because Philippe Hart has gone through. Santutianen realizes that he can just hang it out there for another couple of laps, pick up a couple of points for 19th. That's where he is at the moment, the 67 Ice One Kawasaki racing rider. But Tanel Leoc has to take avoiding action. The ruts almost come together there, and that's allowed Bobashev to close right in on the rear wheel. And he's now being challenged for 7th position. Here's Tanel Leoc. Through the wave section. Xavier Boog over the line, nothing in it though between him and Christophe Pourcel. Hear the crowd going up behind me. 1:051 is the gap between our two leaders. Xavier Boog as they're on their final 2 laps. Christophe Pourcel 2nd, Clement Desal is 3rd. And there's only 1.1 between all of them. So this is the battle here. Look at that, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, just at the end of pit lane. Strybos still there in 4th. 3 seconds between all of them. Xavier Boog riding a tense final couple of laps, it has to be said. But it's still his race to lose. Pourcel will still win the Grand Prix. But every time Xavier Boog approaches the back marker, his heart is going to be in his mouth. Alfie Smith there in front of him, that's 18th, is about to lap. Number 41, J.K. Gebben, Yamaha. Alfie will know where they are on track. Oh, Alfie goes down though. Loses the front end, doesn't lose any positions for the riders, but look at that, first, second, third and fourth, all together. And the crowd over that far side really getting into it. Here's Xavier Boog, there's Porcel, there's De Sal, and there's Strybos, almost wheel to wheel. Strybos challenging De Sal for third position. Who's going to break first? Well, De Sal goes second. Porcel's made the mistake. He goes to fourth place, going down the hill into the left-hander. So Xavier Boog then gets a bit of breathing space, but is that Strybos? Has Strybos gone second? No, it's De Sal. So De Sal was there in second position. This might be good enough for De Sal to... Well, he won't get himself on the podium, but it's a perfect opportunity to whittle away a few more points between him and Cairoli. He can go after a race win as well. Yet to win a moto has Clement De Sal. And he knows that Xavier Boog is the only thing between him and 25 points in this second race. Disappointed not to have finished the race in moto number one. There's Strybos now in third. So an expensive mistake for Christophe Porcel, losing 2 positions over in the wooded section of the circuit. Put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Xavier Boog. Can't afford to lose any ground. De Sal, if you remember, made a mistake with a lap to go as he tried to find a way past Philipparts to win a moto in Mexico 1 week ago. He won't want to make the same mistake again as they go into the final lap here. It's crunch time between Xavier Boog and Clement De Sal. Kevin Strybos not sure if he's going to be able to challenge these two for the lead. Judging by where he is on track at the moment, De Sal looking menacing. He's in a hurry, it's Clement De Sal. It could all end in tears if he's not careful. Both riders over the step up, no problems for them. Strybos losing time as he doesn't jump it. And Clement De Sal closer than he's been all weekend to a race win. Just wondering whether this had put Strybos back on the podium. It would, you know. He'd tie on points. Philipparts would be second. So just need to keep an eye on the situation here between Strybos, Porcel, and Philipparts and Gauthier Paulin in terms of the overalls, but for the race win, Xavier Boog, he holds a defensive line. He's got about a half a lap to go. Clement De Sal breathing down his neck, struggles to get the tear off at the first attempt, going up the hill. This is where Porcel made the mistake last time around. De Sal trying to bury that Suzuki through the mud, trying to stay out of the roost of Xavier Boog, using any line he can just to try and find a way through. Strybos being left there in the distance in third place. He's about 3 or 4 seconds down on this battle for the lead, and Xavier Boog has to leg his way through, kept up on the pegs though. De Sal gets the distance over the step down. Xavier Boog, can he hang on? He's got about a half a dozen or so corners left to go. Bit of a bobble there for both riders through the wave section, but it's still Xavier Boog here, 121, who leads on the factory Kawasaki. Looking at taking his first moto win in World Championship competition. But De Sal, he's pushing. He's pushing. We're 3 corners to go here. Oh, and De Sal takes a big leap alongside the Frenchman. There's nothing in it. It's all or nothing here for De Sal. And Xavier Boog just manages to hold on. Clement De Sal tried to launch an attack. It didn't happen, and Xavier Boog is going to come over the jump and into the Monster Energy finish line, Jim. He takes his first career victory and wins here the second race in Brazil. Clement De Sal has to settle for second. Xavier Boog sets the fastest lap of the race, a 2:41.9 in the process. And yeah, wow, Clement De Sal second in the moto. Kevin Strybos third. Now he's third overall at the moment. There's Boog and Clement De Sal. They congratulate each other. Good race. That's what it means to him. Look at those bikes overheating there. Strybos thinks he might be on the podium. He's not sure. But we have to wait for Christophe Porcel, Gauthier Paulin, David Philipparts to come over the line to have that confirmed, at least for Kevin Strybos. Porcel is over the line now, 32 seconds down on the leaders in the end. Great result there for Xavier Boog. Thoroughly deserved, stayed out of trouble, and brings home the bacon. 25 points. Rui Gonçalves comes over the line, or should be. Yep. So we've got Xavier Boog, Commander Sal, Kevin Strybos, Christophe Porcel, Gauthier Paulin 5th, Philippe Hart 6th, Tanel Leoc 7th, Rui Gonçalves 8th, Kai Rowley was 9th, and we're waiting for Bobryshev to come over the line in 10th. In terms of the overall, Strybos is on the box in 3rd, ties with Gauthier Paulin, so Roger McGee and the guys back home. The KTM UK rider Kevin Strybos takes his first MX1 podium in what seems like an absolute eternity, and that will do the Belgians' confidence a world of good as we head back to Europe in 2 weeks' time. Good work, fella.
Pretty muddy.
Yeah.
No, I feel good. Just the second moto, like I made some mistake at the end of the moto, and it was really slippery. So I let them go, and then I finished 4th. But I'm pretty sad because I'm pretty sure I could win the second moto, but with the lappers it's not easy, so they should move next time.
Well done.
Okay. Looked like he made a mistake to me, but there you go. Anyway, Xavier Boog wins the second race. That was the moment he came over the line to take his first ever MX1 moto win. Xavier Boog wins then from Commander Sal, Kevin Strybos 3rd, Christophe Porcel, Gauthier Paulin, David Philippe Hart, Tanel Leoc, Rui Gonçalves and Kai Rowley down in 9th. Kenny Bobryshev finished in 10th. Good ride for Sean Simpson, so too Mattis Caro down in 14th. And more points for Alfie Smith. Here's what happened, MX1 Race 2. It was a good jump for Rui Gonçalves, but even better for Kai Rowley. But then as they went through the first turn, he got caught, and I think with Commander Sal, as we might see just there. Yeah, Kai Rowley just moving out of the way, but Porcel led initially. But coming through the field was Commander Sal. It was Tanel Leoc who got the whole shot, actually, from Xavier Boog. Then eventually a mistake from Tanel Leoc meant that Xavier Boog was our new leader, and he did a pretty good job as well. Bobryshev was riding pretty good, so too Kai Rowley after coming off the floor. Eventually coming home in 9th place. He threw his goggles, Sean Simpson went back. That was about the battle for 10th place. Sebastian Porcel was riding good. He was on the edge of the top 10 before he made a mistake. But Xavier Boog, he did everything right. He held off the challenge from everybody. And Commander Sal, in the end, despite this last effort lunge around the outside, 2 corners to go, still didn't give up though. And in the end, Xavier Boog took the flag, took his first ever race win in MX1. Commander Sal had to settle for 2nd. Kevin Strybos was 3rd. And that was good enough for Strybos to finish on the podium this weekend in the Honda Grand Prix of Brazil. So the grandstands start to empty. The crowd start to make the way to the exit points. Xavier Boog wins the second race from Commander Sal, Kevin Strybos, Christophe Porcel, Gauthier Paulin, David Philippe Hart, Tanel Leoc, Rui Gonçalves and Tony Kai Rowley. Evgeny Bobryshev was 10th, ahead of Jonathan Barrigan, Sean Simpson, Ken Dyke and Mattis Caro, Ranieri, Antonio Balbi, Heron Brack, Alfie Smith, Caro, Santu Tienen and Garcia, Wellington Garcia in 20th place. No points for Sebastian Porcel after that fall, trying to find a way around the outside of Sean Simpson. Music getting cranked up outside as we prepare for the podium ceremonies. Overall Grand Prix, though, looks like this. It's a win for Christophe Pourcel, 43 points in the end for him. David Philippart second overall, Strybos third. Tying on points with Gauthier Paulin, but the better race result for Strybos in Moto number 2. Rugon Salves fifth, ahead of Boog, Desal, Cairoli. Not often we say that about Cairoli. Then Bobryshev ninth, and Sean Simpson 10th overall, just ahead of the Dijkert, Barragan, Caro, 18 points on the board for him. Tanel Leok, Guarnieri, Dean Ferris, only points in Moto number 1. Alfie Smith, 9 points on the board for him. Then Tienan, Balbi, Brackett, Garcia, and Garrido. Championship looks a little bit like this. Tony Cairoli, 203. Desal now on 179, so 24 points difference, so only 5 points pegged back for Clement Desal. So a real tough Grand Prix for Tony Cairoli. Also for Clement Desal, not finishing Moto number 1, but Cairoli came here with a 29-point lead. That's been chipped away a little bit slightly by Clement Desal. It's now 25 points as we head back to Europe. The French Grand Prix is next, of course. That'll be at Saint-Jean-d'Angélique, just an hour's north of Bordeaux. We're getting ready for the podium here, the Honda Grand Prix of Brazil at Beto Carreiro World. A magnificent theme park, the largest in South America actually, but we wait for our overall podium finishers. But Kevin Strybos, he'll get a good cheer, the HM Plant UK KTM rider. Kevin Strybos already on the podium. David Philippart's there, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider second. Christophe Pourcel takes the overall this weekend. And Jan Lozano, team manager for CP377 Monster Energy Pro Circuit. Kawasaki, he'll take the manufacturer's award. But just like in MX2, Kawasaki sweeping the podium, the top 2 steps anyway. Hugo Loth from Beto Carreiro World hands a 3rd place trophy to Kevin Strybos. He'll enjoy that. So too will his team, of course. Makes the long trip over here more than worthwhile. Alexandra Curry, Honda, hands a 2nd place trophy to David Philippart. That's another one for him. And our overall winner's trophy for Christophe Pourcel, delivered by Jorge Villegas, the FIM Deputy President. So Frenchman stands on the top step of the podium here in Brazil, flanked by an Italian and a Belgian, Carlos Romagnoli, the Chief Executive Officer of his own company, Romagnoli, hands the manufacturer's trophy to Jan Lozano of CP377. But the championship leader is still Antonio Cairoli, despite all of his heroic efforts this weekend and not getting on the podium, finishing down in 8th overall. The Red Bull Factory KTM rider Tony Cairoli receives another red plate from Dr. Wolfgang Schrub, the FIM CMS director. He leads as we head back to Europe for round 6. Quick photo opportunity, and it's the French national anthem for Christophe Pourcel, the winner of the Honda Grand Prix of Brazil this weekend at Beto Carreiro.
A vitória do Christophe Porcel, portanto, o hino da França.
And once again, Kawasaki winners here this weekend. National anthem for Japan. For Kawasaki, winning manufacturer in MX1 here in Brazil. So the fifth round of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship, the Honda Grand Prix of Brazil, comes to a close. And it's Christophe Porcel who takes a win and a fourth to secure another Grand Prix victory in 2012. David Philippots was second, and the first time in a long time, Kevin Strybos mounts the podium in third. It's all fun on the box as we get ready to get some interviews with our winners. Just saw Mariona there in the corner, just trying to get the guys together. Time is very short here. We're off air in a couple of minutes, of course. So, of course, we'll do our best to get those interviews to you. The track just a little bit longer in terms of lap time. The race then running on a little bit longer than usual as well. But a couple of dinosaurs out there on the hillside. That's heading up over the uphill triple over the far side of the circuit. That's the first thing you see when you get up over that Monster Energy jump into that tight right. I can think of plenty of people who that looks like, but King Kong for now will do. That's the tree at the first turn, but it's all about fun here this weekend, Beto Carreiro World, and we've certainly had a lot of that. Shame the weather took a turn for the worse. Nobody was really expecting it, or even if they said there was a little bit of rain due, they weren't expecting as much as we got from 5 o'clock this morning right the way through to the end of MX1 Race 1. And well, despite that, the crowd stayed here. They packed out the grandstands. It was a sellout crowd, 25,000 or so. They've enjoyed the race. They've seen some great racing in both classes, MX2 and MX1. And I'm sure we will be back here next year. I know contracts have been signed this weekend to secure the Brazilian Grand Prix future. So, of course, we will look forward to coming back here in years to come. Well, that's it for Brazil and this fifth round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. My name's Paul Malin. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Christophe, congratulations on winning the GP of Brazil. You narrowly missed out on that second podium, second moto win. Was it more difficult out there this afternoon?
You know, like you said, I missed it pretty bad on the second moto at the end of it because I made a big mistake with the lappers, and then Xavier passed me, and then I was second, and I was like, I'm going to follow him and then maybe try to make the move at the end of the race. And then I made some mistake, and then they finally passed me and I finished fourth. So I was really sad about this, but you know, it's good to stay on two wheels and win the GP in the mud race.
Well done.
Well, that's it from Brazil. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. The Grand Prix of France, Saint-Jean d'Angely, 1 hour north of Bordeaux. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye for now.